Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I'm Anya, your demonic cinephile. We were supposed to do all the horror films in just one big video. The video was a little bit longer than expected, and my throat was killing me. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Probably can start streaming again. We'll see, we'll see. But kind of look at the top 10, no, my top 10 movies of 2023. Oh, horror movies. Sorry. And we're going pretty late, so I am pretty tired and worn out. But this year was a very interesting year for horror movies. A lot of great films in theaters, a lot of great films going to streaming, and everything in between. And we have a little bit of a mixed batch here. So, it's gonna be kind of interesting, hopefully. Who knows? Ah. What the fuck is wrong with me? So tired. But starting off at number 10, we have Megan. They built this film up pretty good. To be honest, all it kind of was a remake of the Child's Play remake, but done kind of significantly better. This is a killer doll movie where it's not just a demon; it's actually a little bit more unique, and the doll actually walks around and move. It can actually interact with the characters. All the other characters in the film are kind of iffy. Like the little girl and the aunt, they are kind of graining to a point, but graining on your nerves. Certain scenes, I think it's the kind of point, kind of show the distance between this person who's not really a mother, wasn't really planning to be a mother, but kind of has to be one now for this little kid. And you also got the little girl who's grieving, and kids process emotions kind of weird and differently. And I like how he's kind of showing the negative effects on the child in a kind of realistic point where it's like, yeah, you got Megan, you got this android who's taking care of the kid, who's giving the kid everything it wants. So yeah, the kid's gonna turn pretty freaking bratty, almost like that, and not gonna listen to the parent. I don't know. I kind of like that. A little bit of realism in this cyborg doll thing. Oh, I don't like is how bloodless the movie kind of was, but the star of it is Megan. Like I said, Megan was really cool. I liked her everything from her design to her personality, how she kind of switches like, oh sweet and sassy to, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, Megan was a good surprise for this year. And jumping into number 9, we have Scream 6. Scream 6 was the movie's gone. My opinion, the movie's kind of changed after the whole drama with the cast, which I may not go into, but for the movie itself, I was really loving it. And the opening was kind of cliche, like Scream, like, oh, it's gonna happen. But after that first kill and I get that reveal, it blew my mind. And everything else, movie kept freaking good hits. Anything negative I really have to say about the film is the lack of use of New York as a character in the setting, which is because they didn't really shoot in New York. They don't really feel like they're in a big, huge city. They feel more like a college setting, kind of like Scream 2. Which maybe kind of was the point. They were kind of getting off, and they're kind of like how Scream 5 was a requel of Scream 1. This is kind of a requel of Scream 2. You see it playing off similar bits and pieces. I love the new, more vicious Ghostface. I like the whole thing with him having a gun in that one scene, which was very changing. Or the film started to lose me. One is the museum to all the old movies, the museum to all the old ghost faces, ghost faces, to all the old ghost faces. I don't know, that's just a cool and unique setting. They kind of hyped it up in the trailers from what I can remember. And I feel like it needed to play a little bit more. Probably not more into the story, but I don't know. I wanted the characters just kind of staying there longer. We could get to see more of a kind of go down a memory road. Maybe some of the kills in the film could go back to the other kills in the old movies, and you can see in the museum how they kind of reflect the kills from happening then to now. Maybe, I don't know. That's popped into my head. I felt like that set, besides the ending, was kind of underutilized. It was so amazing, so amazing. The film really kind of loses me is the ending where we get to reveal who the ghost faces are in the film, and it's not bad. Because once again, it's kind of connecting to Scream 2. Is that we never really got to see any hints of it. It doesn't really feel like it never felt like, oh, okay, of course this was happening. No, it feels like, does it feel like a mystery? It feels more like, oh, here's the killer because we need a killer for the film. And once the mask's been pulled off the killers, it just loses all uniqueness and personality, which kind of happens with a lot of different ghost faces in the films. Once you have the mask off, they feel like completely different characters at certain points. And also, I still love the film. I still like our core 4 characters. I was kind of iffy on them in Scream 5, but when we got to 6 and we got to see them all kind of together, I don't know, it started growing into me more. I started really liking these characters. I wouldn't mind just seeing the series follow them and having no legacy characters coming back, which sucks because of current events. I like the storyline they were building up because we got a little tease of it in the not first movie, but part 5, and you got full on here where Sam is kind of embracing her darker nature, her darker instincts passed on her by Billy, which I'm always kind of iffy of how they do the Billy illusions. Because on one point, yeah, she kind of knows who Billy is. She probably saw photos of him, was told how he acted like, how he looks like. Also reading Gail's books. So it kind of makes sense. She would kind of have a good image of him. But he feels so much like Billy from the first movie that it almost feels like a ghost. And I know Scream is so grounded in reality to an extent. It feels weird to have this almost pseudo supernatural element in it. I don't know. I love supernatural elements in any situation, so I wouldn't mind if Scream wants to pull it out of their ass and do it. But here, it doesn't feel like it doesn't fully click, I guess you could say. I don't know, plus that and the whole ending with the cop being the killer. I would almost prefer the fake out with Kirby being the killer, because I feel that that'd been kind of cool. Makes sense. Those are one of the reasons why it's so down on this list is just because like I said, the recent events of losing the Carpenter sisters. That they ain't coming back for part 7. And I think the Randy's niece and nephew could probably carry a film by themselves. Maybe alongside Gail and a few new characters. Well, but won't fully work because they were mostly as side characters. Yes, they're awesome characters, but the whole new trilogy or whatever it was going to be was built around the Carpenter sisters, and without them disappearing out of nowhere, it's going to have a hard time doing anything for a sequel. With also the negative press Spyglass has been getting, and with the director leaving, if he left, if I remember that right, if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. I just feel like the best thing is to pull the plug on this franchise. Let it go sleep for another 10 years. At number 8, we have The Sacrifice Game. Now, this was a little thing that popped up on Shudder. I didn't know what it was about, didn't know what to expect from it, and it was one of my favorite things I watched for the holiday season. I love going to a movie blind, but I also love it when I go into something blind and it really just gets to me. I'm not sure why. So the basic premise of this film is a group of these cultists, serial killers, whatever. They invade a boarding school during the holiday season, where a teacher and 2 students are the only people left in the building. And that's probably all I should really say, because like I said, this is supposed to go in blind. You don't if I give away too much, it's going to give away too much of the story. I'm such a wizard with words. But no, this is a very fun, interesting film. I love the performance by the two girls. They have such distinct personalities. I love the little cult that we have. Okay, they're just this weird, dynamic, almost what movie I'm trying to think of? Almost Devil Rejects ish. And it's really cool. I love the opening sequence. Actually, I think overall enjoyed the movie. I don't really have much negatives to say. Only thing to say is that the supposed big twist during in the middle is kind of obvious, especially when you start showing these little, I guess you could say flashbacks. You can say, flashbacks, and you kind of easily put it together. There's no real mystery to be sold there. But besides that, this is a very good film. Very surprising. Going blind. It's good slasher fun. A little supernatural shenanigans at the end. I think you'll love it. Also set in the 70s. So it has a kind of feel, I guess you could say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm not sure why some people don't listen to me. Alright, at number 7 we have probably one of the few films I was really looking forward to this year when I heard it was announced. Oh, it's so long. Hell House, LLC Origins, the Carmichael Manor. Now, I don't think I ever talked about it on the channel, but I love found footage. I love the found footage subgenre. I think when it's not done well, it can be really bad, but when it's done perfectly, you get some really great things out of it. The original Blair Witch, the first few Paranormal Activities, and even a couple of VHSs. Now, I first saw the Hell House movies about 2 years ago when I was browsing around on Tubi, and I thought they were pretty cool. I liked the little lore with Andrew Tully and his satanic cult that was kind of slowly built up between each film. I really loved the mixing of found footage with a mockumentary style. I like the narrations, how we're kind of being fed the story while also being shown to it. And it was a good way to give away important details without having to show them or have big expositional moments. And I really love them all. I think I will say the first one still is probably the best one. But with Carmichael Manor, this is probably my favorite of the films. If not favorite, it's right behind part 1. So in this film, we have a couple. We have what the fuck did I just say? In this film, we have a couple and the girl's brother, and they are going to the Carmichael Manor. This like place where this killings happened a couple decades ago, and it may or may not have some kind of ties with the Abaddon Hotel from the first few films. This is very much a Hell House movie. It perfectly mixing the documentary footage, the mockumentary style with the found footage. I really like our main cast of characters. For one, all the movies have kind of a big cast. This one keeps it simple. We have ghost expert enthusiasts, her girlfriend, and her brother, and that's really it. Of course, we have the people in the documentary section of the film speaking. For the most part, it's only those three. It helps build a really claustrophobic feeling, which you didn't really kind of get in the other movies, except for one or few scenes, but it kind of permeates the whole film. And also, it kind of also plays off with the original Paranormal Activity, because one of the reasons why the movie works with why it's being filmed is the boyfriend is so obsessed with the spirits, he wants to capture it all. And here we have the girlfriend, who is the podcaster, who does all the stuff, and when everything keeps going horrible, she's like, yes, we need to stay though, we need to stay. And you see her desperation and her obsession catching up with her, and it's slowly driving her mad. It's putting a wedge between her loved ones. I love it. With how it connects to the first films, I need sleep. Without it connects to the first few films, it's kind of stretchy. It's giving us additional backstory that we did not know about. And while I won't call it retconning, because we're going to see how it goes. I'm pretty sure they have more of these films intact and ready to go. And another really fun thing about this film, it kind of did a Blair Witch type of marketing. I'll put it down in the comments, and I'll try to show on the screen here, that in order to kind of help promote the film, or just kind of just thinking a weird experiment, that they gave the character, the main character of the film, Margot, they gave her a YouTube channel based off her thing, NetSleuth. Not only that, they also made a website where you can interact with it, look at all the things about the character, what she did, everything leading up to her disappearance in the Kyle Michael Manor. And it's really cool, it's very fun and interesting. I hope they do this for the next movie, and what else? Keep a lookout for that. I was saying, I really love this film. It shows it had a lot of love and attention put into it. Very weird, very creepy, very unsettling. There's one great sequence. It has one of the clowns in it. I don't want to spoil what happens, but it was one of the freakiest parts in the whole movie. It really actually got to me. Alright, so at number 6 we have something, I wasn't really sure if I was going to put this on the list or not, but this is more sci-fi than horror, I guess you could say, and it's Birth Rebirth. This film is about the two hospital workers, one who is a nurse and one who is part of the morgue. When the nurse daughter dies in a tragic, horrible way, the mortician takes the body and sort of just kind of spoilers, but it's kind of like a modern day Frankenstein. It's more dark and dramatic than horror. There's no outright scares, but there is tension. There is thrills about not about, oh, the kid's gonna turn into a monster, or how's the monster gonna ravage the village, but more like the lengths and extremes these two will go to keep this child alive, to keep this experiment going. And it's very, I guess you could say, captivating. It's one of the few films I saw this year that really just got my attention. Like, I wasn't even really watching it to watch it, I just put it on just for background noise, but when I started really paying attention to what's happening, like what the heck? Like, alright, let's turn the computer off and let's see what's happening here. The main characters are very the nurse is very down to earth. You really get her. She's a more relatable character. Then you got the morgue, our mad scientist, or Dr. Frankenstein. She is very blunt, very cold, very medical. Maybe she is, I don't know, she is very standoffish to the point you think she's crazy or doesn't care, till you find out, no, she really does care. She just doesn't know how to show it. The character's probably supposed to be on the spectrum to some extent. But I'm glad they never actually say it. They don't say like, oh, she's crazy or mad because she's autistic. Like, no, that's a part of her character, and it's kind of obvious from one person to another. Except for one scene where the undead thing kind of kills someone. There's no outright horror of the monster. The horror is the length you would go to save a child. That is the monster in this. Very good. If you like sci-fi, if you're looking for a good modern day Frankenstein, this is it. And number 5, this one's probably one that people probably want a little higher on the list, but is When Evil Lurks. Now, I did not watch When Evil Lurks when it first premiered. I saw it on Shudder, but I didn't really get to watch it. People start popping up on my phone like, When Evil Lurks, the best horror film of the year. Like, what the heck? Alright, okay, let me check this out. And it is everything everybody says it is. This is easily one of the better possession horror movies I've seen in a long time. The possession movies, they all follow the same standard thing. Family, ghosts or demon comes out, possesses somebody, they lose their mind, they go crazy, and the priest or the equivalent of it comes in and saves the day. Of course, there are variations, but that's basically the gist for all possession movies. This one, on the other hand, was very different, very unique. It almost takes place in this kind of post-apocalyptic world where churches don't really exist anymore, and the whole world kind of knows about the existence of demons. And the possession is very different this time. The film is an Argentina film. Argentina. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry. Is what is made over there, and maybe this interacts with some of their local myths and lore. I'm not exactly sure, but the demonic possession is more like an infection. It kind of reminds me of something like The Thing. It's like when the demon takes place inside of your body, it's using you as a host to mature and develop its own physical form. And while it does that, your real body gets all bloated and filled with pus and guts, and the demon starts manipulating and tormenting people around you. I think the kind of fun way to think about this is kind of like Evil Dead, but it was full on played seriously. This movie is bleak as hell. There is no hope. There is no salvation. And the moment you think you're going to get hope and salvation is loudly and horribly ripped from your feet, and you fall to the floor in a pile of blood and guts and are affected by the demon yourself. The main characters in this film are, we got this one man, our main lead. We don't really know that much about him. It's implied he may have done some kind of crime in the past and he was sent to jail, but it's also implied he was kind of innocent. The film never gives you a direct answer, and I think that kind of helps because we're not exactly sure to believe if he's possessed, if the demon is lying, or whatnot. The ending is kind of not the ending, but where they get a chance to kill the thing. And okay, this is where I kind of like the guy. He is so mad and deranged by the end of the film when the demon is using little school children as proxies to get them to leave it alone so it can be born. He just loses and starts beating the kids. It's like, what the heck? I don't know why I loved it. It was so funny. But no, he gets the chance to kill the thing, but he's like, oh, it's buried underneath the floorboard. We can't get to it. And the monk lady, I guess she's a monk, or she has the tools of a monk, I'm not exactly sure. She's working out the demon killing device, but she has to assemble it. He's gonna shoot it like a harpoon. He's like, I can't get to the thing. It's in the floor. And when the girls, he knows is possessed, or at least being influenced by the evil, it's like, oh, go to the principal's door. There's an axe in there. Okay, I'll get it. Like, no, it's a trap. It's obviously a trap. Why are you doing it? He's like, forget this. I'm gonna go get it. Like, he dooms the world. But no, there is a lot of sorry, think I'm better from the cold. They come spark back. But there is a lot of amazing practical effects in this film. Lots of great use of blood and gore. It's a very disgusting and uncomfortable film. Like some of the parts that stand out scenes to me are kind of like in the middle way point where the owner of the land he was kind of an a-hole. He's like, oh, it's in the goat? Let me go get to the goat. He grabs his gun, shoots in the air. All of those flee except for the one is possessed by the evil. It's Black Phillip. It's the witch. And when he shoots the stupid thing, shoots the goat, which I'm not sure why, we all know at this point that they established many times throughout the film, even the early sections, that shooting it will only make it worse because the evil will spread like it's a disease. He kills it, and then we get this gnarly shot of the wife taking the axe and going right into the neck. Or is it the neck or the head? Fuck, I can't remember. Then she turns the axe to herself and just boom, a boom, a boom, and she falls down. It was shocking. It was a shocking scene. And the second one is the one that involves the puppy and the little girl. That's all I'm gonna say. But my heart dropped at that scene. Yeah, this is a really great movie. Lots of blood. If you're really looking for that nasty carnage, if you're looking for that bleak and nihilistic view, that's what you're gonna get. Which is also kind of one of the reasons why it's kind of a little lower in the list. The movie was just so bleak at times. It was hard to enjoy it. And this is kind of how I feel like I couldn't really make a good connection with any of the characters. So at that time, but in the film, I wouldn't really mind it the evil one. This can say. I think we need a little more time with the characters, like make one of the characters more likable, like the brother. It just seems like they were trying to do, but we learned a little secret near the end of the film where it's like, no, he's an a-hole too. And we need at least one good person here. At least one good person. No, for me. And number 4, we have the only Evil Dead Rises. Well, what was I trying to do there? I'm not exactly sure. Now, Evil Dead Rise is the newest film in the Evil Dead franchise. I'm a big Evil Dead fan. Love all the movies, love the TV show. I was so excited for this film. I was very bummed when I first learned that it was going to Paramount Plus, of all places. That's where it was only going to be. And I thought I had to do a little sailing on the 7 seas, if you know what I mean. But no, at the last minute they decided to bring it to theaters. And thank God, this was such a great film. Just a very fun take on Evil Dead 2. Because it's very similar to what we've seen, but also very different. Yeah, all the Evil Deads, they all kind of have the same, theme, the same setting. But all of them besides Army of Darkness. You're in a cabin or someplace secluded. Then the evil comes, starts tormenting you and your loved ones. But here we have a this apartment building. It's condemned. Not a lot of people live in here anymore. It still has that claustrophobic feeling like a cabin. But even more so, because this is a small apartment. I love the new additions to the Evil Dead lore that they're building in this film. That the 3 volumes of the Necronomicon, that we got the first book, which is the book Ash had. Then we got the second volume, which is the one that was with Mia in the 2013 remake, or I guess at this point, reboot, or whatever it is, because it's technically part of the canon now. Then you got this new book with this weird teeth, like it's like out of the Mummy movies. And I like this little lore, like, okay, we get different books, this is how all the books connect to each other. Or maybe they're just one big book that's been separated. Who knows? And I like how when the kid gets the book and he's trying to read it, and is playing on the record, he tries to do something that we don't see in many of the movies. He tries to stop the recording. He tries to stop the words from being said, and then his DJ system just shocks him, sends him back. It's like the evil's like, oh no, you gave us this foot in. He's like you open the door for the evil and start closing right away, but the evil just puts his foot out like, no, you open this door. Let's open it wide open. Let's open it with wide. We let all our friends in. And I really like the new Deadite for the main film, the Mother of Maggots, or Maggot Mommy, I forgot what her name is. She is beautifully creepy. She has a very interesting look. Kind of like a mix between the classic Deadites and the Deadites from 2013. Blood and gore, spectacular galore. I love everything about the horror and the action sequence in the film. It was so bloody, disgusting. I freaking love it. I really love the tone of the film, because it's taking the best parts of the more serious and horrifying aspects of 2013, but mixing them with the more zany and fun elements of like Evil Dead 2. I think it strikes a good balance between the different tones this franchise kind of flips flops between, because I love all of them. Cause this is like my favorite version of Evil Dead, because they're taking those 2 specific elements from Evil Dead 2 and 2013. Not that I don't like Army of Darkness or Ash versus the Evil Dead, but I prefer it to be a little bit more serious. No, it doesn't have to be full serious, just a smidge. Yeah, but I really love this film. The opening was kinda unnecessary. Cool as hell. I love it. Love how it connects to the end. But in all seriousness, well, you didn't really need it, except for some more early fun and gore to freak out the audience. It wasn't fully necessary, unless for a sequel they have planned in mind. And next to this opening, who knows? And supposedly they're going to try to do more and more films. Bruce and Sam Raimi aren't going to be directing anything, but they will be producing. I heard they're writing a bunch of notes and ideas about where the films can go, and hopefully everything comes up. Like, I know Bruce said he's done with Ash, he's too old, he doesn't think he should play the character anymore, but come on, wouldn't it be cool for some Evil Dead in the future? Mia and the main character from this movie open up the Necronomicon and they summon Ash from the Apocalypse world from the last episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead. And it's so funny because it's silly Ash. And he's like interacting with these more serious characters. He's like, oh yeah, you had to kill your brother? How did you kill my brother? Kill my sister though. Yeah, she turned to a real bitch. It's gonna be a fucking hilarious. I hope they do that or something like it. Alright, number 3. Number 3 is also kind of like with Birth, Rebirth, and Medieval Lurks and Sacrifice Games. I watched this one very not that long before putting this list together. So maybe this has some recent bias, but I really love this film when I watched it. It is Brooklyn 45. So Brooklyn 45, it's take place in 1945, not too long after the end of World War II. You get these old war buddies who are all coming together to help a friend of theirs, a colonel, if I remember correctly, or a general. We have the general, we have the colonel, we got the sharpshooter, we got the interrogationist, and her husband. It's this weird, kind of wacky group of people, all very different people, but they all had this thing in common, was the war. This war that brought them together, this war that destroyed the lives of so many people around the world. And their friend, who recently lost his wife, he asked them to meet up with him, to play a game, to do a seance. And that's where I'm going to stop right there, because kind of like with Sacrifice Games, spoiling this would ruin so much the film. First thing I want to talk about the film is the claustrophobia. The whole film takes place in one room, kind of like a play. It feels so small and constricting so many times throughout the film. The whole backdrop of the war and the fact that, yeah, the war is technically over, but is it? Is it for our characters? Can they just put their life behind and forget about it all? It's very fun and silly, but also very serious. It's kind of like with a couple other movies in this list I said, it really just stuck to me and got to me, and without fully spoiling, I can't say why. Let's just say one of our characters, while serving as a soldier, he was forced to do something very horrible, and he's being blamed for it. He is basically has to lie about it. And is he a good man? Is he a good man who made a mistake? Is he a horrible person? Is he just a soldier following orders? Who is he? What is he? All these fun and fun, probably not the right word, but weird, horrible ideas, and this paranoia and claustrophobia about who you can trust. And yeah, like I said, it's probably not a good review because I don't really want to talk about the characters and the story because it's going to give away so much. But one thing I really did love about the film is the classic effects. The film takes place in 45, and they opt to do very little to no CG. In fact, a lot of the special effects are from that era, like the projection on the screen, very weird and out of touch. And I really love it. Someone who loves old classic filmmaking, you'll get a very kick out of this. And there's also kind of flops between aspect ratios in the beginning and to the end. And it's really, really cool, really subtle moment. You don't pay no attention to it, but when you see it, it kind of hits with you, kind of messes with your mind. Like, wait, how long was the movie in that ratio? Is it the whole way, or is it just now? If you like ghost stories, if you like paranoia, if you want to feel weird, claustrophobic, if you want to be talking about war times, if you want to be talking about what separates people, what brings people together, and what tears them apart. I think we'll go Brooklyn 45. Alright, we got our Terrible 2 with Talk to Me. This film was a freaking surprise. Because I always heard of Talk to Me, like I saw the trailer, and it really, really interested me. But I didn't really get to see it to the very last minute before I left theaters. And it was late at night, perfect time to watch it, and this movie just blew my freaking head off. It was so captivating, so weird. It's all right. I keep using that over. I keep overusing that word captivating. Why am I brain over focusing on that? Whatever. So the film is about a bunch of high school kids get their hands on this weird hand. It basically it's rumors that it belonged to a psychic a long time ago. And if you grab the hand and you say, "Talk to me," you have the chance to see a spirit and get possessed by it. And the kids, like a bunch of dumb high school kids would do, play it off as a dumb game. And of course, it fails horribly. Before we talk about anything else in the film, I do want to mention the two creators of this film. What's their names real quick? Danny and Michael Filippo. Filippo. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Basically, it's Raka Raka. If you don't know who Raka Raka is, please go look them up. They used to do a bunch of... I haven't seen them in a while, so I'm not exactly sure what they're doing right now. Besides this. They used to do a bunch of weird horror and action skits on YouTube. A bunch of weird, crazy stuff that I used to love so much. I used to binge their videos all the freaking time. If you know their infamous McDonald videos, which they're just get they're crazy. Go check out their Ronald McDonald videos. But the thing is that this is them. They made this movie. They made Talk to Me. And it is so amazing seeing these guys who I used to watch years ago, who would just do these weird dumb stunts, these overcomplicated action and horror things. And they made most of their content very dark, like horrifying dark or just silly. But seeing them to make this very dramatic piece, I don't know, I didn't expect it from them. And when I learned it was them at the end, I felt so much love and pride for them. Like, good job to these guys. Like, just amazing. But no. So Talk to Me. What makes Talk to Me so great? It kind of like with Work, When Evil Works. It's taking a genre of horror that we've seen so many times, which is, I guess you say, possession or ghosts or hauntings, and it takes this new spin that is this weird, dumb prank. This thing that the kids are messing with, and because they're kids, they don't really think of the big consequences of, wait, what is this thing? Like, hey, maybe it could hurt us. Because they even have their own rules, like, yeah, not supposed to go past the certain minutes while you're being talked to this entity, and as soon as it keeps getting more fun and outrageous results, they just let it slide by, ignoring all the important rules that they set up. I do want to talk about the main character, which, what's her name real quick? I'm gonna find it. Mia. So Mia is, I really liked her. Maybe one of my favorite protagonists of the year. I don't know. Because when you meet her, she's very, down in the dumps. You can tell she's kind of grieving about something, but we're not really led on to halfway into the film. And we know it is her mother. She's grieving the loss of her own mother. And when she gets this toy, or I guess you could call it a toy, when she gets to find it, she learns that ghosts are kind of real, afterlife is kind of real, and it fills her with excitement. And she's hooked. Like, for all the other kids, this is just a dumb thing to Hey, let's party! Let's party all night and do this cool dumb stuff and post it to TikTok. But to her, it's like a drug. It helps her forget about her pain. It helps her to find some new exhilaration or high, I guess you could say, that she hasn't had in such a long time. Like she feels alive, and she feels alive because she's interacting with the dead. And when you get to see her mom again later in the film, I still don't know if what the creature was supposed to be. Is it really supposed to be her mother? Is it something taking the shape of her mother? Is this simply how her mother acts like in this new purgatory where all these spirits are condemned to? Like there's so much thought and possibilities when you really think about every little thing that happens in this movie. For a horror though, the horror is very great. Going back to Raka Raka and their amazing stunt work. Oh my god, the boy. What's his name? Riley. Yeah, Riley. The character's name's Riley, but the kid that played him, Joe Bird. And not sure how much of his own stunts he did. Probably not that much. But when he goes all out, when he gets possessed by this demon, it was the most. Oh, it was the most. I think I almost screamed like. I think I almost screamed in the theater. Just not because how scared it was, but how shocked it was. How shocked they were going this violent and this bloody with a kid basically. Because when you see horror films, most of the time you expect the kids to be safe. But this one, oh no, this boy is how the demon messes and grotesques his body. Like when you get to that shot where he's like trying to pull his own eyeball out, I got in the seat. It was, they know how to get you with the blood. They impress you with the special effects, the practical effects. They impress you with the brutality and viciousness, and it's another world of a work. I think it was by the time I kind of thought of Raka Raka in the theater, like, that kind of looks kind of familiar. Now I know why. But no, we got lots of bloody good shots. Nothing that tops the scene with Riley getting possessed, or any of the scenes after with him. But they're all amazing. Especially when you get a look at this hell world that all the demons apparently live in. Which once again, kind of like Mia's mother, may or may not be real. We're not exactly sure. And also to Mia, I really wanted to give a shout out to Sophia Wilde, her actress. From what I've been able to find, she hasn't really played in a lot of stuff. At least stuff that I would know because American, she's Australian. I don't know any of these movies she's been in, the movies and shows. But yeah, I see a lot of talent in this girl. Like she was stunning in her performance. How she was able to shift from grieving to exhilarated and high to losing her freaking mind, which was phenomenal. She sold every little every little detail of every scene she was in. Hope she does more horror. Hope I can see what else she can do in the future. Yeah, but this was announced to have a sequel, and I'm sure, I guess they're gonna call it Talk to Me or Talk with Me or something like that. I'm not sure. The Raka Raka brothers, they said they build out the whole Bible of their world. Like they have ideas about other hands and other objects and other parts of the world. So there is a lot of things that the sequel can cover. Lots of new questions to be explored, new things to be answered. So I'm all for it. I cannot wait to see what else they have in this. I can always see what else they have in this world. But it is one of the more unique takes on ghosts and seances that we haven't seen in a long time. So if you like these type of movies, really go check this out. You will be surprised. And check out all of Raka Raka's classic videos. The guys are amazing. And last but not least, the best horror film out of the year. Best horror film for 2024, Saw X. Now, I'm a big, huge Saw fan. I saw the movies growing up. Not all of them in theater. A good chunk of them. Wasn't the biggest fan of Jigsaw. Love Spiral. I actually really love Spiral. But when it's announced that new Saw movie was coming out, I was a bit mixed. I was hoping it was going to be good. But also kind of wavering my expectations between what Jigsaw was and what the last, not the last one, but what Saw 3D was, which was left a lot to be desired. But no, I was really surprised about what this movie was. Not only was they brought Jigsaw back, but he was the main focus, which we didn't really get a lot to see that in the other movies. He always appear behind the scenes or in a flashback, but with him being the main star of the film, allows us to see all the different aspects of John Kramer. Not just the murderer and the psychopath, the manipulator, the trap maker, but also the human, the sick cancer patient, the guy who, in his own twisted way, really wants to see people fix in their lives. I know there's been that one thing about John where everyone wants to call him a hypocrite. Like, how dare you, John? You put people through these traps. You want to change their lives, but you're just a murderer yourself. And it is true. John is a very big and much of a hypocrite in the movies. But I think it really works in this one because you're pitting him against people we arguably hate more than him. Because John, while horrible and misled as it is, does want to help the people he's testing. But when he's put up against these scammers who steal people's hope and millions of dollars at what they think is a miracle drug cancer treatment, you hate these scumbags a lot more than what John does. And when we get to see them put into the traps, it is very, very satisfying. The very first half of the film is very, I guess you can say, relaxed. I mean, yes, we got the cancer thing, we got the operation, but it's very human just seeing John just being a regular man. And also very disturbing when, is it disturbing twice? I don't know. But it's very disturbing when you see John seeing orderly just looking through a person's belongings like, oh, should I take this? I'm going to take this. And John's instantly thinking about ways he can torture him. Like, maybe I should try vacuum suction to his eyes and he can suck them out if he doesn't break his fingers. But John's like, no. He gets the kid like a warning, like, don't do that. But trust me, you don't want to do that, or we're gonna have a quite different conversation here, sir. All the traps are bloody and nasty. I don't think they're some of the best ones in the series, but we have some very fun contenders. Especially where the one girl is supposed to take a glottolaya to her leg and saw it off. You stick the needle in her bone to get the bone marrow out. It was just nasty and it was so cool. But we move away from the traps and we get to see Amanda. Amanda comes back. And this one is very, because we never really got to see a lot of John and Amanda solo. We got Amanda in part 1, which she has that one scene. Amanda in part 2, where she's separated from John and has to put in an act. And when we meet her in Saw 3, she is with John, but she's also distraught and not in her right mind. So we meet a little bit more, I guess you say, level-headed Amanda. It's very fun watching her and Jigsaw interact. They had this weird father-daughter relationship. And you can tell how sad she is that he is going to die, how she's going to lose him soon. And like I said, we get these more human emotions and human interaction with these killers, these monsters. And we get this very fun villain with Cecilia, who is just a complete opposite to Jigsaw. Jigsaw wants to heal people through horrifying means. She's just going to kill you and take your money. Jigsaw wants to inspire some kind of change. She says, F that, I'm going to kill someone to get in my way. John back, Gracie, Amanda back, and Hoffman for those last few seconds at the end of the film. And it's reawakened my Saw fanboy, and it was my favorite experience with a horror film throughout the whole year. So that was my top 10 films, or cut that part out. So this is my top 10 horror films of the year. Tell me what your list is down below, and we'll see each other next time. Bye-bye. Gotta nurse my throat. It is killing me.